I want you to stop what you're doing for just a second. Seriously, pause.
Okay.
Don't look at your phone. If you're driving, please keep your eyes on the road, but maybe turn down the mental noise for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to answer a question that sounds incredibly simple, almost stupidly simple. Where are you right now?
Yeah, that feels like a trick question.
It does, right?
Yeah.
But seriously, think about it. You might say, I'm in my car, or I'm at my desk.
I'm in Chicago or I'm at the gym.
Exactly. Immediately, your brain goes to coordinates. You are defined by your location. You're sitting on a chair inside a room located in a city.
Exactly. As humans, we are completely tethered to the concept of where. It's how we orient ourselves in reality. To exist, for us, literally means to be somewhere.
Right. If you aren't anywhere, you don't exist.
You just don't.
But, and here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
What if I told you that needing a where is actually a limitation?
Mm.
What if location is actually a trap, and that the source we're looking at today argues that the ultimate form of existence has no coordinates at all?
It's a mind-bending concept.
Yeah.
It breaks all the rules of how we see the world.
It really does. So today we're doing a deep dive into a fascinating and honestly pretty heavy blog post titled The Infinite Presence, Allah Beyond Space and Time.
And this was written by Jason Wells on February 12, 2026, from the Knowledge is King blog.
Yeah, and our mission, I guess, for this deep dive is to try and unpack a theological and philosophical argument that, frankly, challenges everything we think we know about physics.
We're used to the physical world, Newton, Einstein, gravity, GPS. But Wells is asking us to look at the metaphysics of the divine. Specifically, how a creator can exist without a location.
I have to admit, when I first read through this, I felt like my brain was doing gymnastics. I actually got a little headache.
I get it.
We're talking about existence without dimensions. It just feels impossible to visualize.
That's a natural reaction because you're trying to visualize it with a brain wired for 3D space.
Yeah.
You are a creature of coordinates. But the goal here isn't to visualize it like a picture. It's to understand the logic behind it.
Mm-hmm.
We need to distinguish between the physical, which is what we are, and the transcendent.
Okay, let's drill down into this then. The source starts by defining what it means to be a body. And he's not just talking about, like, a gym body, right? Not biceps and abs.
Right. He's not talking about biology. He's talking about substance.
Yeah.
Physics.
Yeah.
In the context of this argument, a body is anything that occupies space. A star is a body. An atom is a body.
So even a photon of light in this framework has physical parameters.
Yes.
So the criteria is, does it have dimensions? Does it have a left side and a right side?
Exactly. Does it have a top and a bottom? A boundary where it stops being itself? Wells breaks it down really clearly. He says a body is restricted. It has a shape. It has a size. It has a beginning.
Right. If I pick up a coffee mug, it has a height, a width, a depth that stops at a certain point. It doesn't go on forever.
But there's a more crucial point the source makes, and this is the pivot for the whole argument.
Which is?
A body is dependent.
Dependent on what?
On space. A body requires a location to exist. It needs a container.
Needy is a strong word for a coffee mug.
It is, but look at the logic. Take that coffee mug again. For that mug to exist, it demands a prerequisite: space. It needs a scaffolding. If you have the mug, but you have nowhere to put it.
You have a syntax error in reality.
Precisely. The object is dependent on the container. Wells's point is that needing a place is a weakness. It's a limitation.
Oh.
It means you cannot exist on your own terms. You are subject to the laws of the box you're sitting in.
Whoa. Okay, let's try to picture that. If I take away the concept of here, if I delete the X, Y, and Z axes, the coffee mug literally cannot be there.
Precisely. It vanishes. Its existence is conditional. It relies on the environment to hold it. And this brings us to the core contrast the source makes regarding the creator, or Allah.
Right. The source is very specific here. It asserts that Allah is not a body.
Which means he is not composed of parts. He isn't a collection of atoms or cells. And crucially, he is not limited by dimensions. He doesn't have height, width, or depth.
See, that's where we trip up. We are so used to projecting our own limitations onto the divine. I picture God sitting on a throne, which implies he needs a seat, which implies gravity, a floor. It's a whole chain of physical dependencies.
It is, and Wells argues that as a category error. We're taking the rules that apply to the painting and trying to apply them to the painter.
I love that analogy. Okay, so if we strip away the idea of a body, we are left with something that doesn't need a spot to sit in.
And that leads us to the next big logical step in the source material, The origin of where?
The chicken and the egg logic.
In a way, yeah. The source asks us to recognize Allah as the creator of all things.
Okay, accepted premise. If you believe in a creator, you believe he created everything.
So if he created all things, that must include the very fabric of reality itself, space and time.
So space isn't just an empty void that was always there. It's a created thing. It's a product.
Exactly. It's a fabric, a mesh, a vacuum, whatever physics definition you want. It's part of the universe. And this is where the visualization gets really trippy. Wells writes, before the heavens and the earth were brought into being, there was no up, down, inside, or outside.
I'm trying to imagine that. No up, no outside.
It's impossible for us to truly imagine because our imagination uses space. We are coordinate native.
Right.
But logically, the argument holds up, even if our imagination fails.
Okay, walk me through the logic then if I can't picture it. Because my brain hits a wall. How can you have existence before you have a location? It's like trying to imagine a color that doesn't exist.
Sure. It's a sequence. Premise 1, space is a created thing. It implies a beginning.
Okay, accepted. The universe had a beginning, so space had a beginning.
Premise 2, the creator existed before the creation.
Right, the painter exists before the canvas.
So the conclusion is inevitable. There was a state, if we can even call it that, where the creator existed, but place did not.
He was there, but there was no there.
Sure.
That's the part that breaks my brain. But I guess if he needed the universe to exist, he wouldn't be the creator, he'd be an inhabitant.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And that distinction, creator versus inhabitant, is the whole ball game for Wells. And here's the kicker. If he existed before places were invented, he doesn't need a place to exist. And since he is eternal and unchanging,
He still doesn't need a place. Even though places exist now, he didn't suddenly jump inside one.
correct.
That actually makes sense logically, even if it hurts my brain. But I have a question, and I think the listener might be asking this too.
Go for it.
Why can't we just say God is everywhere or residing in a specific holy place? Why is the source so adamant about him not being in a place?
It comes back to that definition of a body in dependency. The source warns that to say the creator is in a place implies containment.
Containment, like putting water in a cup.
Think about it. If you are in a room, the room surrounds you. The room contains you. So the room is, in a sense, bigger than you, or at least encompassing you.
Right, the container limits the contain.
And Wells writes, the creator cannot be limited by the very fabric he wove into existence. To say he is in the universe is to make him a prisoner of his own creation.
Oh.
It would mean the universe is holding him.
That's a powerful image. The weaver isn't inside the sweater. If he were inside the sweater, he'd be trapped by the threads.
That's a great way to put it. The source emphasizes that he is the creator of where, not a subject of where.
This connects to those attributes mentioned in the text. There were some specific Arabic terms used to pin this concept down, right?
Yes, the source mentions as-samad and al-Ghani.
Let's break those down. What do they mean in this context?
So al-Ghani translates roughly to the self-sufficient. Now, usually when we hear self-sufficient, I think of a guy who grows his own vegetables and lives off the grid in a cabin.
Right, the survivalist definition. I don't need society.
But Wells is pointing out that even that guy living off the grid is wildly dependent. He needs sunlight. He needs oxygen. He needs the Earth's rotation to keep him from flying off into the void. He's dependent on the laws of physics.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. So in this text, al-Ghani the self-sufficient means an entity that requires zero external factors to sustain its existence. No air, no space, no time, no energy source.
And as-samad.
That's sort of the flip side of the coin. It implies an eternal refuge. The idea is that while he needs nothing, everything needs him. It's an asymmetric relationship.
It's the anchor versus the boat. The anchor doesn't need the boat, but the boat definitely needs the anchor.
That's a decent way to view it. Wells argues that every atom in existence is constantly asking permission to exist. It needs a coordinate provided by the creator. The creator, however, asks for nothing.
So while I need a chair to keep me from falling, and I need the earth to keep the chair from falling, and the earth needs space to spin in, the creator breaks that chain.
Exactly. This is what the source calls divine transcendence. It means existing without being subject to the laws of physics or the constraints of aware. It's absolute independence.
So what does this all mean? Like, for the listener sitting on the bus or walking their dog right now, it's a cool philosophical concept, sure, but does it change how we see the universe?
I think it fundamentally shifts the power dynamic of reality. If you understand that everything around you, the air, the ground, the stars, is just a created fabric, and the source of it all is completely outside of that fabric.
Yeah.
It makes the universe feel smaller and the creator much, much bigger.
It definitely puts things in perspective, but
Oh,
I want to push back on this for a second.
please do.
We've established this hyperlogical, transcendent being who is outside of space, outside of time, totally independent. And frankly, that sounds cold.
Cold.
Yeah, it sounds like a watchmaker who built the clock and then left the room. If he's not here, if he's in some non-dimension outside, then he's basically infinitely far away, isn't he? It feels distant, like he's off in some other dimension, ignoring us.
That is the most common reaction to this theology. We equate here with close and not here with far.
Right.
But the source actually flips the script on this completely.
How so? Because transcendent usually implies above and away.
Wells argues that transcendence does not equal distance. In fact, he argues that this state of being beyond space is what allows for ultimate intimacy.
Okay, deprogram me. Walk me through that. How does being outside of space make you closer?
Well, think about what creates distance between you and me right now.
Space.
It's space. Literally, the air between us,
Mhm.
right? Space is a separator. If I want to get to you, I have to traverse space. If I'm in New York and you're in London, there is a massive amount of physical stuff keeping us apart.
Right. Location is separation.
Exactly. To be somewhere is to be distant from somewhere else. So if all were confined to a specific location, let's call it point A, he would, by definition, be physically distant from point B.
Oh, I see where you're going. If he was sitting on a planet in the Andromeda galaxy, he'd be very far away from Earth.
Exactly. But because he transcends space, because he is not a body at a coordinate, he's not separated from anything by distance.
So there is no distance to traverse.
Precisely. The barriers of near and far just don't apply to him. And the source quotes a very famous line here. He is closer to him than his jugular vein.
I've heard that before. It's a striking image. The jugular vein is literally inside your neck. You can't get much closer than that.
But the author, Jason Wells, is very careful to clarify this. He warns us not to take this as physical proximity.
Right, because we just established he isn't a physical body bumping into our physical body.
Correct. It's not that he is physically squeezed inside your neck.
Yeah.
That would be containment again.
That would be pantheism or something.
Exactly. So what is the closeness then?
It's defined by infinite knowledge, power, and sustaining grace. Is that it?
Yes. It's an intimacy of awareness and sustenance. Think about a spotlight. A spotlight is in one place, and it shines a beam. The beam gets weaker the further away you are because the source is trapped in a location.
Right.
Now imagine a light that doesn't have a source point. It's just illumination everywhere. The source explains that his power sustains every place simultaneously because he isn't distracted by being stuck in one place.
That's a huge shift in thinking. So instead of God being a being who has to travel from A to B to help you, the source is saying his power is already there because he holds the very reality of there in existence.
Exactly. He's sustaining the where that you are currently occupying. You don't need to traverse distance to reach the one who creates distance.
Wow. It's surprisingly comforting. It takes the cold logic of transcendence and turns it into this warm idea of constant presence.
It resolves the paradox. He is far above us in his essence. He is distinct, independent, holy, but he is near to us in his knowledge and care. He is the creator of the concept of closeness itself.
Man, that is deep. The creator of the concept of closeness. I like that.
It forces you to rethink everything.
It really does. So we've covered a lot of ground, pun intended, in a short amount of time. Let's try to recap the big takeaways from Jason Wells's post. If the listener needs to hold on to 3 things from this deep dive, what are they?
Sure. Let's boil it down. First, we have independence. This is the idea that unlike us, and unlike every other object in the universe, Allah does not need space to exist. He is the only true independent variable in reality.
Right. We are the dependent variables. We need the X and Y axis. We need the container. He doesn't.
Second is transcendence. This is that chicken and egg point. He is the creator of dimensions, not a prisoner of them.
The weaver is not the tapestry. Got it.
And finally, magnificence. This is the so what for our daily lives. His non-physical nature allows him to sustain all realities simultaneously. Because he isn't somewhere, he is effectively with us everywhere through his knowledge and power.
That paradox of intimacy. He's not a body sitting next to you, but he is closer than your own veins because he sustains the existence of those veins.
That's it. That's the core argument.
You know, the source ends with a really provocative thought that I think is the perfect way to wrap this up. It challenges us to look at our own surroundings differently.
Yes. Wells pushes the reader to realize the nature of their own trap.
We are trapped in a way. I'm trapped in the studio. You're trapped in your car or your office. We are prisoners of coordinates.
But the final thought is this. Look around your physical environment right now. Look at the walls, the sky, the road. Realize that while you are tethered by these coordinates, the source of your existence is not.
You are held by a location, but you are sustained by the one who created location.
It kind of makes looking at a simple empty room feel a lot more profound.
It certainly does. It changes empty space into created potential.
Well, on that mind-expanding note, we're going to leave you to mull that over. Next time you're looking for a parking spot and thinking about coordinates, maybe take a second to think about the one who doesn't need one.
Stay curious, everyone.
Catch you on the next Deep Dive.